Assalamu alaikum, Minister Ahmed el-Shabazz.
Well, alaikum salam, brother. How are you this morning?
I'm fine, all praises due to Allah. We are back for another episode of The Righteous Talk, and we are honored to have a special guest with us, who is, in my opinion, one of the best ministers of the Nation of Islam today. He is presenting the real teachings of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all praises due forever. He is taking a stand for Allah and his last messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So it's truly a great honor for me to welcome Minister Khalil Shabazz from Detroit. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Wa alaikum salam, brother Mustapha. I'm doing well.
All
Great.
right. Well, greetings to you, my brother minister, Khalil Shabazz. It's an honor to speak with you this morning.
Yes, sir. It's an honor to be here.
All praises due to Allah. Your lectures are always eye-opening and straight to the point, and you are constantly speaking out against the hypocrites, which is so important because otherwise the people would believe that it is all right to follow these deceivers and hypocrites. So my question is, how can people avoid falling into their traps?
Well, first of all, we must always remember that we must keep Allah and the messenger out front. That's one of the most valuable, that's one of the most valuable tools that we can use. That we must understand that God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad to raise a messenger to teach and guide us. It's not, I think that a lot of times we get caught up in personalities and the people who we got Islam from. So we take their spin on, how they interpret Islam. But my number one rule is keep Allah and his messenger out front.
That's the way to be, and that's how it should be. I must say that your lectures and the way that you outline your lectures and you use a lot of the history is very valuable today. And I appreciate your good work, especially nowadays in 2023, and especially in the city of Detroit. Detroit should be in better shape than it is. But
Yes, sir.
Master Farad Muhammad said Detroit was the worst city on the planet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so and we
And
I'm
I
not
know,
so go ahead, brother. Yes, sir.
I know one time I got the Muhammad Speaks newspaper and I was looking, I just got on Google Maps and I was Googling, because in the Muhammad Speaks, they have all the businesses that they had under the messenger. So one day I just said, let me see what's there now. It became depressing, bro. I mean, it was once supermarkets, restaurants. They had walk-in coolers. I'm talking about, and now it's just vacant lots, abandoned buildings. You know what I'm saying? Like liquor stores.
Yeah.
So it's like the condition that the city, and not just Detroit, like the whole country, when you look at all that the messenger, all that he provided for us and all that he left for us, and then you look at our condition now, it's like it becomes like it's depressing to really look at what we had and what we once were to see what we are now.
Yes, sir. It's very depressing. Because when I lived in Detroit over 30 years ago, there was still remnants of the Nation of Islam businesses. There was a Shabazz East and a
Yes, sir.
Shabazz West
Yes, sir.
restaurant. You had the Your supermarket. And see, when I grew up in Chicago, so the south side of Chicago, the Nation of Islam had it sold up. It was no need for me and my mother to go downtown to do anything.
Yes,
We
sir.
if we wanted to shop, learn anything, we just go to the south side.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So it's very depressing, but we were warned about this time.
Yes,
And
sir.
so we have to uh, keep pushing,
Yes, sir.
keep pushing. And I love the way you've been getting on these hypocrites and the disbelievers, especially these ones, as you call them, the bus stop boys.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes. So that is a, that is the most accurate description of those fellas. But
Yes,
the
sir.
messenger warned the people about taking a few words of his and starting a whole organization
Yes,
off
sir.
of it and dividing up the people. But
Yes, sir.
so this is just another. Today is just another manifestation of the same old enemies of Islam.
That's all it is. Because if you look at, even when you look at all of the people who made organizations after the messenger, they all take little bits and pieces of what the messenger taught and make an entire organization out of what he said.
Exactly. Yeah. So, we're in the days of Allah,
Yes, sir.
2012 to 2032. And the messenger explained that in Our Savior Has Arrived, page 82. And so, since we're about, 11 years in, what do you see coming to our people within this last 9 years of the days of Allah? What do you see? And I put it like that in reference to yesterday's Supreme Court ruling.
Yes, sir.
So they're taking away so-called affirmative action, and I'm old enough and young enough to remember America before, during, and after so-called for affirmative action. And they also made an attack, but they also made the law of the land that people can discriminate against people now,
Yes,
according to their
sir.
religious beliefs. So, what do you see coming?
All I can say is only Allah knows, brother. Because it seems like everything is like the messenger said, the worst is yet to come. And you would have thought, how could it get any worse? You know what I'm saying? So I just see that we as the believers have to keep on pushing, because the condition of our people is in the worst state that I feel that we have ever been in. Because I know me personally, just selling papers, and to see how I never saw, like, I remember once it was this brother that he had on a dress with makeup on, with, a weave. I mean, when I saw him pull up in the car, I thought it was a woman. And I never experienced, and I didn't know. I'm standing there like, what is going on? It's like some of this stuff that's happening today, it's like you don't even know, like, what do I like? I was just dumb. I never saw that before. Like, I never, even though I'm pretty sure there has always been brothers who cross dress, but it's like it's so in your face now. You actually seeing brothers together with brothers and they men, and they holding hands, and it's just, I just see, like the messenger said, it's only gonna be a few of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's only gonna be a few of us, and in the condition that we in now, we can see that the white race is a race of devils, and their entire society is nothing but filth and indecency.
Exactly. And I think it's very important that the true believers are pointing out the deceivers and the hypocrites. And you have been doing that for years.
Yes,
and
sir.
Some people are actually attacking us for pointing them out. I just want to say we are not speaking ill of Mr. Farrakhan, for example. We are speaking the truth about Mr. Farrakhan, which exposes him as hypocrite. We are not exposing him as a hypocrite out of fun or jealousy. We do so because we want to see the black man in heaven and not pulled in hell by these hypocrites.
Yes, sir. And the one thing that the messenger always taught us when he pointed out the hypocrites is he said we must be able to identify them.
Right.
That's the purpose of talking about Farrakhan, or talking about any person who deviates from the teachings of the messenger, who adds something to it. We must be able to identify these kind of people, because these kind of people are among believers. We can't just assume that because a person says Assalamu alaikum, that means, oh, he's a Muslim.
Right.
You got to be able to recognize the weak Muslim, the hypocrite, the disbeliever. You got to be able to recognize all these people, because it's very important, especially in this day and time, to be able to recognize who are the people who are around you, who are the people who say they believe in the teachings of the messenger. So the purpose of talking about Farrakhan or any person is to make believers aware and give them the ability to identify these kind of people.
Brother Minister, I have a few questions. When did you join the Nation of Islam, or accept the teachings, or accept your own?
Actually, I accepted my own in 2006. my journey through Islam, it's a long, long story, but I actually accept, accepted my own in 2006.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes,
Praise be to
sir.
Allah. That's very recent.
Yes, sir.
And I must say, from 2006 to now,
Yes, sir.
you and I'm and I was taught by the best. I was taught by
All praise
Minister
due to
John.
Allah.
I was taught by Minister John, Brother Johnny, and Brother Lieutenant Ali Hassan. I'm pretty sure you've heard those names.
Yes, sir.
And you remind me of the old school brothers. I
All
was so
praise due to Allah, brother.
I was so happy.
Yes,
And I
sir.
said, look at this fiery young man here. And he's
Yes, sir.
coming flat foot. And
Yes, sir.
I love the passion
Yes, sir.
in your delivery. And you outline your lectures very well.
All
And
praise is due to Allah, brother.
yeah, so now that I know you basically a baby,
Yes, sir.
brand new. I mean, but you doing a fine job.
All praise is due to Allah,
And
brother. I appreciate it.
and I mean it. I don't just hand out compliments, brother. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
I'm not from the area of mediocrity. See,
Yes,
we get
sir.
some. Suffice it to say, today in 2023, people are glorified people who are just mediocre.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
but you are far from that.
All
And
praise is due to
and I
Allah.
like I said, you keep doing what you're doing. Now that I know you came into the teachings in 2006.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Because I would have thought you've been a minister about 20 years, brother.
No,
Right.
sir. All praise is due to Allah, brother. Allah
Yes, sir.
bless me. That's all I can say. Allah bless me, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, I love it. I love it. And like the passion. I haven't seen that much passion from the dais in a long time.
Yes,
Long,
sir.
it's
And
been a long one.
I just, I get my passion because one thing I look at is all the messenger did for us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and he don't get the kind of praise that I feel like a man of his caliber should get, especially from a believer. Like these teachings improve our condition and improve our life. When I got married,
Mm-hmm.
I would go to the supermarket and people would see me and my wife. Sometimes we would go to the supermarket, you know what I'm saying, in our uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of compliments that we get because people see us like, oh, you guys look so beautiful together. I mean, people coming up to us, praising us for being Muslims, for looking so clean, for carrying ourselves the way we do. And we learned all that from the messenger.
Right.
He taught us how to clean ourselves up. He taught us how to eat to live. He taught us how to be men. He taught us what the black man was, his history. He taught us all. He taught us who God was. But
Mm-hmm.
he don't get no kind of praise. He don't get no recognition. People can just talk about the messenger and nobody says anything. So it's like I just feel, it's my duty. Because I remember one time listening to the messenger on a laborers meeting, and he told the believers, he said, all of this that you done for me, he said, don't you think I owe you something?
Hmm.
And he could say that after all he did for us, and he still felt like he owed us something. And he giving us all of this, but he still felt like all of this that you give me, don't you think you owe me something? So
Hmm.
I feel like as it's our duty as a believer
Mm-hmm.
to just go all out. And I try to go all out every time I get to the rostrum.
And it shows, and you're doing it. And you're
Yes, sir.
right. It
All
is the
praise.
duty. It is the duty of those of us who know Islam
Exactly.
to stand up for the truth and defend the faith.
Yes, sir.
That's right. And I just love it. I just love it. I mean,
All praise is due to
yeah.
Allah.
I mean, you made me feel much better because I was so hurt, because I've been banging on these false leaders for a long time, and it seemed like very few people were listening.
Yes, sir.
You know, and but you have to keep doing it
Yes, sir.
because it's not for today. It's for
Right.
the people of tomorrow.
Yes, sir. That's a good point. The stuff that we do, Like a lot of times we think that it's gonna be because when I first thought about being a minister, or or when I was a young kid, I used to want to be a preacher. You know what I'm saying? I always had like a passion to want to, get up and teach God's word. I felt like, you know what I'm saying? And we think that it's this chest poked out thing. Brother, it ain't nothing. When you really start to minister or really start to even sell papers, it's not that immediate gratification that a lot, and that's why I think a lot of people don't stick around because it's mostly your duty. Because I remember the messenger talked about Muhammad Ali. They asked him about Muhammad Ali going to prison and all of the stuff he was doing. The messenger said that he was like, Muhammad Ali is not doing nothing for Islam. He said that Islam was around before Muhammad Ali was born. He said whatever Muhammad Ali is doing, he's doing for himself. And I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing nothing for Islam. Islam was around before we was born. Everything we do, we doing to help ourselves. So we can't look at it like if you become some big guy, you doing something for Islam and Islam needs you. Like how we feel, like a lot of people feel about Farrakhan and any other leader. Like, look at all he's doing. Like, nah, everything we do for ourselves. If we fall out tomorrow, Islam's still going to be what it was when we first came to it. So,
That's right. Yeah, it's you're doing it for Allah.
That's right.
And you're doing it for your people. You're duty bound.
Yes, sir.
As it becomes a part of your DNA.
Yes, sir.
Brother Minister John Muhammad, he was the one who wrote the names into the Book of Life.
Yes, sir.
That Master Farad Muhammad took with him. There was 25,000 names. He said to me when I was going through minister's class with him, he said, brother, you stood up. And once you stand up, you can't sit down.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You won't be able to sit down. And see, and I haven't been able to sit down. It's in my DNA. I have to defend the faith.
Yes, sir.
And so I understand what you're saying, brother. And you don't have enough time in the day.
Yes, sir.
To do it. But we're so few in number nowadays, and don't think that we won't be challenged, threatened.
Yes, sir.
I've got my share of death threats over the years.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
it wasn't from Christians.
I
So-called.
know that's right.
Yes.
That is so true, brother.
It wasn't from no Caucasians. Ain't no Caucasians ever threatened me about no Islam.
Right.
You know who threatened me about Islam?
That's right.
People named Muhammad and everything.
Right. Yeah,
but see, these people named Muhammad, they have a double first name. They might be named Bobby Muhammad. Could you speak on that? These names.
What I know about the names is, like, I know in our time, you see a lot of people with if you look at the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, like the messenger, like you had like James Shabazz, you had Jeremiah Shabazz. When you see in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, the messenger kept it simple, with the name, because I feel like we supposed to be living up to this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like we just supposed to be picking something to make ourselves seem like we holier than thou. So the only thing that I really know about the names is that the messenger said that Allah was going to give us our names. All I know is that when I look at the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, the messenger kept it simple. He didn't have, you had top labor like John Ali. He the national secretary, and his name is just John Ali. You know what I'm saying? The national representative, Louis Farrakhan. It just was simple and plain. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I noticed about names with the messenger is he kept it simple. It wasn't like a person got a name that's a mile long. It was something short and
very
sweet.
Simple. Yes.
Very simple.
Master Farad Muhammad, I was told by Minister John during the 30s. See, Master Farad Muhammad said no devil names should be on the roster.
Yes, sir.
And all devil names had to be removed. We need to go back to that.
Yes, sir.
Farrakhan named all his followers Muhammad.
Right.
Yes.
He cheapened the name.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right. And there's a reason why the messenger kept Louis and Farrakhan, because that's mathematics. Well, we can get into that later.
Yes,
But
sir.
that name equals Antichrist, and that's what he proved himself to be, Antichrist. So we must get back to having Muslim names,
Yes, sir.
and everybody can't be Muhammad.
Right.
And
Yes, sir.
and to your point, yes, the messenger kept it real simple. Master Farad Muhammad said we used to have names that were 12 inches long, but we don't need that today.
Yes, sir.
If you're in the FOI, you're not supposed to have a Christian name and a Muslim last name. That's in the instructions. I take my instruction from the God and the messenger. And I don't take on no mixed instructions either. What did Allah and His messenger say? Then
That's
do
right.
it. Then just do it.
That's right.
So, brother Mustapha.
We just have approximately 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Wow.
And yeah, time is flying quickly. Before we are closing, can you please tell the people how can they reach you or see your lectures?
Oh, well, you can go. We have a Muhammad Speaks YouTube page, but the reason why we don't have our videos public on our YouTube page is because the devil was taking our videos down when we would publish them. And if we would have got one more flag, they would have took all of them down. So what we do is we publish them private, and you could go on the Muhammad Speaks website. You can go to the Muhammad Speaks website and click on view temple meetings.
Yeah.
And that's where all of our lectures are uploaded to YouTube, but we don't publish them public. We publish them private so that we can keep the YouTube page with all of our YouTube videos on them.
That's very good. Very good.
Yes, sir. Because I had a whole lot of videos up to YouTube, and I'm like, I don't want them to take them all down. So we came up with, if we publish them private, then we could still publish them and say the same things, but we can have it where the videos are on the Muhammad Speaks website. And plus, we can publish them on Facebook, any social media. But to get to the lecture, you either have to go to the Muhammad Speaks website or go actually to our Facebook page also.
Yes, so it's ElijahMuhammadSpeaks.com.
Yes, sir.
Right?
ElijahMuhammadSpeaks.com. Even if you press in Muhammad Speaks in Google, the website comes up. But to go exactly, it's ElijahMuhammadSpeaks.com.
Very good. That's great.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Well, you give all the Muslims in Detroit the greetings from me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will do that.
Please. And
yes, sir.
Keep up the great work that you are doing.
All praise is due to Allah. And I really appreciate this interview. And anything in the future, just let me know.
Yes, I also have an idea to make a video about Farrakhan, where we can actually display Farrakhan's hypocrisy, just a little documentary, because he's, in my opinion, one of the biggest and greatest hypocrites ever.
Yes, sir. He's the biggest hypocrite. That's something to be known as the biggest hypocrite ever.
Right. Going down in history, yes.
I know. Wow.
And the messenger said that Malcolm was the worst hypocrite he had ever seen.
I know. And then you end up being the worst hypocrite, worse than that. Like, wow, I don't see how he lived with himself. Like to be a person, because if you look at us, all the truth that we get, and we never saw the messenger. Could you imagine if we could call him like how Farrakhan could just talk to the messenger? Like if you had a question, you could call him direct. And you could go to his house. You know what I'm saying? You could actually eat dinner with him. So Farrakhan knows for an absolute fact what he's doing.
Right.
And how can I don't see how when you see the messenger, I mean, I could go on and on. Some of the stuff that you saw the messenger do, like with the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, the Muhammad's Fish program, what you saw him doing in the prisons, what you saw him doing in the colleges. You saw all that firsthand. And now you see what you're doing. I don't see how he can live with himself.
He can't. He can't. Did you know what do you think he sees when he looks in the mirror?
He see the biggest hypocrite in history.
Okay, so that's a lot to deal with.
That is, yes, sir.
Because he's not a hypocrite because he don't know. He's a hypocrite because he does know.
That's true. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
He ain't a
sir.
disbeliever. He's not a
Yes,
disbeliever.
sir. Yes, sir.
He believed, but he just went left.
Yes, sir.
And see,
Yes,
once he put
sir.
that, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna let it alone.
Yes, sir.
Once he put that apron over his suit, that was a
I
wrap.
know.
Mhm.
I know,
You're not
brother.
gonna even get into that.
I know. I
Right.
know. I know.
Okay, so we are closing now. Our time is running out. So thank you very much once again for joining and for taking the time. And I pray to Allah that He may continue to bless you and protect you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.